So now that I have my data, I want to start doing some analysis on the data. And I'm going to do some basic descriptive statistics on some of the measures that I'm interested in, which are the likes and retweets. So likes and shares. So here it's called favorite count and retweet count. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way to the bottom, So once again, use those shortcuts. And I'm actually going to do the calculation right here outside of this table that was created. So, and I'll show you why that works. So, one other thing before we move on, nice to do here is working with the view. So notice how we kind of lost the first column here. Now we can see it actually with this one because we are using the formalized table, but sometimes we lose that first attribute. And the way to make sure we keep that first attribute so we see it at all times is to go to View, Freeze Pane, and then Freeze Top Row. You can actually freeze different kinds of arrangements, but we just want to freeze the top row. So when I go all the way down, then I can see both the column name, the column letter, which is important, and if you see how the first line there, first row just remains there all times. So control roll up goes all the way up, but we don't see. But then if you go down to the next one, it goes to 2, and then control all the way down goes to the last one. Now here, not under hashtags, but under favorite count, I'm going to write a formula to identify certain measures, mean, mode, and median. So I'm just going to, I select the cell where the content is going to appear. I then go to the formula bar, I type equals, and I just start typing, let's say, average first. Average, now you can see the built-in formulas start coming up. All the formulas or functions are going to have parentheses. So this is a function, so it has parentheses. Formulas don't all need parentheses, but all functions have a parentheses because you need an input for the function. And we're going to use cell referencing here for this whole row. We're going to get the average of all the tweets I collect for this 2020 data. So average equals, identify the J. J is the name of the column. Then J2 is the first cell of data. And then the last one is 343 here, 34637. 34637. And then close parentheses, enter. Oh, what was the problem? Oh, I forgot the J there. So you have to put J. And notice the colon means from this to this, and it creates an array. Array is just a list of numbers. So the average is right here. There's the regular mean and a favorite count, which is not another word for likes. And that is 11.38. So that's the average likes per post. And I'm actually going to go right ahead and start typing here, average right here, so we can remember what this was. Now the second one, I'm just going to write right below it, select the cell first, and then equals, let's get the median. Median, the same thing, J2 to J34637, 34637. I see myself repeating, so I might want to copy that value. Now look the difference. The median is 2. So it's like 5 times lower. And then the mode is, I just here I'm pressing tab or to the arrows, kind of start moving it around. Mode equals, there's a mode function, same thing, J2 to J34637, 34637, close parentheses, boom, the mode is 0 as the most frequent value. Now I'm actually going to go and copy these values because I keep repeating them so much, but we're going to go here to retweet count. And then we're going to do the same thing because I want to get the average, the median, and the mode for the retweet count. So here equals, and then equals what? Equals average first. And then I type the number I got. But remember, it's not J. Now we're on K. Now it's K because that's where the retweet count is, K to K. But it's the same rows. And then I'm actually going to go and copy this here, Control C, hit enter. And you can see the retweet is much higher than the likes. And it's kind of interesting to think about that because Twitter is a different platform than you know, maybe Facebook, you also have likes and shares, but people approach it differently. About the median, oops, you always need to put the equal first if you want to use a function or formula. I already copied the array, 3, the median mode. Oops, that equal sign equals mode, same thing, same array, different formula, different function. And then voila, I have my details here. Now let me show something about the this kind of structure of this table that is inserted here. Notice that there is a kind of last line for the table, and these values are actually outside of the table. And if I were to, for example, sort by the retweet count, so on the first ones are going to be the lower numbers, and the bottom ones the higher number. Sort smallest to largest, and then I go all the way to the bottom to check on my data. These didn't get modified. That's kind of the beauty about kind of creating your own table within the data, within the spreadsheet. Now, what I'm going to do is, this is a kind of awkward place to put the data, because we want to have this sheet here to be fairly structured in this format. That is to say, often you can tell that in Excel, it's very flexible. We can move around the columns. We can add a new column. I'm just left clicking here, then right click, and then insert. I can insert a new column here, and then I can make it big, and then I can start typing whatever I want, and so on. So it's very flexible in this sense. However, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to bring this back, but we want to keep the data sheet itself as structured as possible in just the rows of tweets, in this case, the rows of instances of the thing that we're talking about, and the columns of the attributes, and just keep it like that and don't mess around on this worksheet. But we can do that in another worksheet. So I'm actually going to copy this here, and I'm going to Control X, which is actually cut. So it's going to remove. I'm going to go to the intro sheet, and I'm going to start typing here so we can see the flexibility of these things. And then I just type it there. Now, if you just type it and Control V for paste, and if you look at it, you're actually getting the formula. And notice that now here there's a reference to the sheet name plus the reference to the cell value. You can do that sheet here and these cells. So if you want to, you could have built the formula from here and refer to it to the other sheet. You don't have to refer to within the same sheet. But this is not what I want. So I'm going to Control Z, undo. I'm going to right click on the cell that I want to begin, and I'm going to paste. But I'm going to paste. Did it paste what? It didn't give me any options to paste. So let's see, undo again. Let's see if we undo. Let's go back to see if my data is still there or I cut it out. I cut it out. So still here. Let's copy it. Let's Control, well, I want to Control X. I do want to cut it, so it's going to disappear here once I paste. And then here, right click. I'm wondering, oh, paste special. It's not letting me to paste special, and I wonder why that is. It's maybe because I cut it. But what I did want to do was to paste special. But what I can do is I can Control C. Maybe it's because I Control X. I Control C, right click. Yeah, maybe because I cut instead of copying. Now I just right click here, and I can paste just the values. So I don't keep the formulas. I just want the hard code values and not the formulas. So I can do that. Another way to do this would also be to just paste. Control V, just pastes. And then I can kind of come up here in these paste options that often comes up, and then just change to values. And I'm going to delete this one. This one has formulas. How do I know? Because I click here and I see the formula. Delete that. I'm going to bring this up top. And I'm going to just make sure that data was deleted. It was deleted because I used the cut. Now, look how there's kind of something else coming up here, and I can see this line is green. I don't know what happened here, if it kind of created a new line or something, but I don't like it. So I'm going to click on this whole row here. So everything that's on its path is going to get deleted. Click on the left row on the row number. Left click on the row number, then right click and then delete. So that whole row gets deleted. And then you see that the little drop down is not here. This is not attached to anything else. So, so that's a way to create some of the formulas and then paste them into another worksheet. And we can work around here. Here we can be flexible. Where the data is, we just leave it as is. But in another sheet we created, we can be flexible. So we can work with some of the nice features. For example, the borders. We can put some borders here so we can create a nice table. Let's put a name here. Like, what is this? Notice how there's no name. I know this is average, this is median, this is mode, but of what? So here we put fave count, and here retweet count. Oh, I can maybe get away with abbreviating that. And then nice tables nowadays don't have many lines, so I just put a top border here. And then another maybe bottom border for these two bottom. And then voila, we kind of have a nice table here. Maybe center these. And also notice how we can kind of play around with the numbers. Over here, if you go to number, decrease the decimal. These are number properties or cell properties, format cells. You can find that more over here. Let's decrease a little bit. Oops. Actually, let's remove. We don't need any. Increase decimal, decrease decimal. Don't need decimals there. Decrease decimals here. Okay, that's probably enough. And then we have a little table of average favorite count, median favorite count, mode favorite count, and retweet count, and so on. Next, we're going to continue with some other features and analyses.